Okay, so let us start the class. Okay. So today we'll start a new topic, and we will actually discuss about the semiconductor junctions. Okay. So I hope my screen is visible to you, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll talk
Yes,
about
sir.
semiconductor junctions. Okay. So maybe let us understand this way. So when I say semiconductor junction, so obviously I mean to say, so when I say a semiconductor junction, so that means I want to create a junction, or maybe I want to make contact between two semiconductors, right? So those two semiconductors may be two different semiconductors, maybe let's say a silicon with germanium, or maybe a metal with a semiconductor, okay? Or even maybe it would be same semiconductor with two different regions, right? So when I say semiconductor junction, so that means I want to contact two different semiconductors, maybe, or maybe two same semiconductor with different types, or maybe a metal and a metal and semiconductor. So let us say I want to make a junction of silicon semiconductor, right? And let us say I want to create a junction of a p-type and a n-type semiconductor, right? That is, I want to contact these two. So obviously we have heard about this p-n junction diodes, right? So when you make a contact between these two, so a device is formed, and that is called p-n junction diode, right? So let us try to contact these two separate types of semiconductors. Okay. Now, if I try to draw the energy band diagram of this p-type semiconductor, okay. If I try to draw this energy band diagram, so I'll have a conduction band, obviously. I'll have a valence band. Okay. So let's say that this is my valence band, and then I have a conduction band. Okay. And since it's a p-type, so obviously Fermi level will be the valence band. So I also draw a Fermi level which is close to the valence band. So that is how I can draw the energy band diagram of this p-type material. Okay. Okay. And then also a Fermi level. This time the Fermi level will be close to the conduction band. Right. So that is how we identify a p-type and n-type semiconductor, by looking at the location or position of the Fermi level. Right. So now, we have these two semiconductors and we want to make a junction, right? So I hope the slides are again visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, so let us try to connect these two semiconductors, and we said that okay, now we have established a contact between a p-type semiconductor and an n-type semiconductor. Okay. So obviously we understand that p-type semiconductor has majority carriers as holes, right? So we have majority carriers as holes, and in an n-type semiconductor the majority carriers are electrons, right? So that means obviously the minority carriers here will be holes in an n-type semiconductor. Similarly, in a p-type semiconductor, minority carriers will be electrons. I'll write E here. And if we try to look at the concentration of hole in this whole device, right, that is entire device now, Tn. Okay. So the concentration of holes will obviously be larger on this side. So this side this p-type has majority carriers as holes, and in n-type we don't have much holes, right? That is, the concentration of holes in this p-type is more than the concentration of holes in n-type, right? So that is why there will be a concentration gradient. That is, I have a high concentration in this region of holes and a low concentration of holes in this region. So maybe I'll write here, I have high concentration of holes here. Maybe I'll write over here, high hole concentration. Hole concentration is high. Okay. And in this N region, I have a low hole concentration. Low hole concentration. Okay. So that means I have a concentration gradient in this device. Okay. So that is, the holes are more in this region and very small number in this region. Similarly, since N type has majority carriers as electrons, so obviously more electrons you will find in N region than in the P region. So that means obviously I'll have again a concentration gradient of holes from N to P. That is, holes are more here in N type region and less in P type region. So I have a concentration gradient of electrons. Electrons are more in N type region and less in P type region. So I have a concentration gradient of electrons. That is, high concentration to low concentration of electron. Similarly, high concentration of hole to low concentration. As you move inside, maybe at this edge of the N-type semiconductor, you will find the hole concentration further decreases. Similarly, when you move from this portion towards the P-type, you will find the hole concentration is decreasing. And maybe at this edge, the hole concentration may be 0. Right? Because here, the electron concentration may be 0 if you move from here. Because in P-type, electrons are minority carriers. Obviously, I have a concentration gradient, that means. Okay. Now let me rub everything. So since I have a concentration gradient, that is a hole concentration gradient from P to N and electron concentration gradient from N to P, right? So obviously we understood by the definition of diffusion that whenever you have a concentration gradient, the carriers will move from or diffuse from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration, right? So that means the holes will start moving from P to N, right? I'll say holes will start diffusing, not moving. So holes will start diffusing from P to N, right? So holes will start diffusing. So this is holes. Holes will start diffusing. So this is diffusion. Holes will diffuse from P to N or left to right because of concentration gradient between these two regions. Okay? So similarly, electrons will also start diffusing from N to P. Right? So I'll write electrons, they diffuse from N to P. So electrons, they diffuse from N to P. Okay? So when holes diffuse from P to N region, that is, they have left the P region and now they are in the N region. Okay? So they have left P region and now they are in the N region. Okay? So obviously that means the overall charge of this P-type region. Okay? So that has changed. And by considering that charge neutrality principle, we understand that total positive charges should be equal to total negative charges in the system. Okay. Now, because of movement of hole from P to N, so obviously some positive charges are lost now. Okay. So to compensate, the loss of positive charges from P side, at the junction toward the P side, ionized donor or donor ions are created. So that means when P-type holes leave P-type semiconductor to N-type region, then they leave behind themselves ionized ionized acceptor impurities. Right? So they leave behind themselves ionized acceptor impurities. Okay? Similarly, when electrons, they leave N-type region, okay, and they move to P-type region, again there is charge balances getting lost over here. So to compensate that, the holes which have left the N-type region, so they will leave behind them ionized acceptor impurities. Donor impurities, right? So donor has a positive sign and acceptor has negative. Okay, so p type, when holes move or holes diffuse, okay, holes were diffusing from p to n, so they leave behind them ionized acceptor impurities. Similarly, when electrons diffuse from n to p, they leave behind themselves ionized donor impurities. Okay. Now we see at the junction we have positive ions also here and negative ions collected, and we understand whenever a positive and negative charge appears, so there also appears an electric field, and the direction of the electric field that would be developed in this region would be from positive end, that is positive charge, to negative charge. That is, the electric field will originate at the positive charge and it will terminate at the negative charge, right? So let me call this as electric field. Right? So this electric field is developed because of diffusion of electrons and holes. Okay? And in the previous class we had some time back commented, I'll go back and show you that the diffusion of carriers, so that result into a built-in electric field which sets up drift. Yeah. So here, if you read this point, that if you have a diffusion current, okay, so this sets up an electric field which redistributes carriers by drift. Okay. So that means diffusion sets up electric field. So here also it is happening, the same thing in PN junctions. That is, because of the diffusion of electrons and holes to both sides, I have a built-in electric field set up, okay, across the junction. Now, this built-in electric field will do what? So obviously, this will result into drift of carriers. Okay. Now, which carriers will drift and in which direction? Okay. So that is important. So obviously, if electric field is in this direction, so that means holes will diffuse in this, holes will drift in this direction. Which holes? We will talk. Let us say holes will drift in the direction of electric field. Which holes? I'll tell you, right? So holes will drift in the direction of electric field. Okay. Similarly, electrons will drift opposite to the direction of electric field. So I say electrons drift opposite to the direction of electric field. Okay. Now, which holes and electrons will drift, right? So in this is a region where high electric field exists, okay? And since the electric field direction is in this direction, so we said that holes will drift from N to P and electrons will drift from P to N. Okay? So which holes and electrons? So let us identify. So in N-type semiconductor, holes are minority carriers, right? So let us say some minority carriers have come across this region, right? This dashed region. So this is also called, this region is also called, let us say it is called transition region. Okay? So let us say that this region is called transition region or space charge region or depletion region, right? So why it is called transition, space charge and depletion region? So I'll comment on that. So let us say that this region is called transition region, and let us say that at the edge of this transition region, okay, the minority carriers which are holes here, they come here somehow, right? At this edge, some holes come, let us say at this edge. Some holes which are minority carriers in N-type, they come at this edge. Okay. Now, because of high electric field in this region, this hole which has come to this edge and which is a minority carrier, so this minority carrier hole will be swept away, okay, in the direction of the electric field. So that means this hole will now be swept into the P-type. So this will come here because of this electric field. Okay? Because in this electric field, this is very high. I mean, whatever it is, so this electric field will sweep away any holes which are appearing near the edge of this transition region, okay, along the direction of electric field. So this hole will be now appearing here in P-type semiconductor. Okay. Similarly, in a p-type semiconductor, electrons are minority carriers. Okay? Now let us say I have some electron which is a minority carrier in p-type that appears again near this edge of the transition region. Okay? So again, because of this electric field, this electron will be swept away to the n side. Okay? So that is, this electron will be found now in n-type. Okay? It will be swept away from this electric field. Okay? Now, in this region, okay, there cannot be any charge existing, any electrons or holes existing. Of course, ionic charges are present. Ions are very heavy; they don't move. But yes, no electron and hole can exist in this region, transition region. Okay, so that is why it is also called depletion region, because it is depleted of any carriers. It is electrons or holes; they cannot exist because of this electric field. Okay? So this electric field will sweep the holes and electrons from this region. So this is called, that is why, depletion region, because it is depleted of electrons and holes. Okay, so we understood that the hole drift will be from N to P and the electron drift will be from P to N. Okay. Now on the basis of this, one can now find out the total current. Okay, total current due to holes and total current due to the electrons. Okay. Now you will find that in the equilibrium, we had said some time back that there is no net carrier movement, and so the current is also zero. Okay. So here also the job of this electric field is to counterbalance the diffusion which was happening from P to N and N to P. Right. So since the diffusion was happening from P to N and from N to P, right? So electrons were diffusing from N to P and holes were diffusing from P to N. So to counterbalance this diffusion, an electric field is set up, and the job of this electric field is to set up an equal and opposite drift, right? So this has set up an equal and opposite drift. So that is, my system is now in equilibrium. That is, the number of electrons crossing this junction due to diffusion is equal to number of electrons crossing this junction due to drift. Similarly, the hole diffusion balances the hole drift at the junction. Okay? So that the equilibrium current is zero and there is no net carrier movement. So I'll again take you back to where we had said the same thing. So some time back we had mentioned it somewhere that at equilibrium, no net current flows in a semiconductor. And so as I said that hole current is zero, and somebody asked me why the electron current cannot be zero. So electron current was also zero, I said, at equilibrium, because drift and diffusion, they balance each other. Okay? Maybe I have some time back shown you here also somewhere that drift and diffusion balance each other, or they are equal in equilibrium. I'm just going back. Okay, so maybe somewhere I have definitely told you that the drift and diffusion, they balance each other in equilibrium, so that you don't have any current in equilibrium. That is, current is zero. Okay. All right. Now let us come on to let us try to draw the energy band diagram of this device. Okay. So let me rub once again everything, and then we'll try to draw the energy band diagram of this device. Okay. And then we'll understand something more on the effect of this electric field. Okay. Let us draw the energy band diagram of this device. Okay. So the energy band diagram, when these two separate regions are contacted, right? So these two regions were contacted over here. So because of the diffusion and drift of carriers, and now when the system is in equilibrium, okay, so now when the system is in equilibrium, so obviously in equilibrium we understood that the Fermi level will be constant. Okay? There will be no gradient in the Fermi level at equilibrium. Okay? So that means Fermi level should be straight. Okay? And here we see that there is this much difference, right, in the Fermi level. Okay? So obviously, if the Fermi level has to be same, so then that means this portion of the energy band diagram. So this has to come down. The entire this has to come down. So that Fermi level is same. Okay. So let us draw the energy band diagram. Let us again mark these two lines as the transition region. Okay. And let us try to draw the energy band diagram. Okay. So these two energy band diagrams. So since I have electric field only in this region, okay, so that means I have a potential gradient only in this region. So that means P and N regions. I mean that is these two regions. So they do not have any electric field. So that means potential across P and N. So both should be constant. Okay. So let us say Vp is the potential across P region, which is constant, and Vn is the potential across N region, so which is also constant. Okay. So constant potential, no electric field in these two regions, so obviously the bands will be straight. So that is why I have drawn straight bands. Similarly, now since the Fermi level has to be aligned, so I draw the Fermi level of T. Okay. Fermi level has to be aligned. Okay. Then because of this electric field in this direction, okay, so the bands will bend. So we had commented that the effect of this positive charge on the energy band diagram is that the energy band diagrams will be pushed down, and the effect of this negative charges is to pull up the energy band. Okay, I'll go back and show you where we had commented. So I'll go back here, right? So electric field is in this direction, so that means positive end is connected here, negative is over here. So effect of positive charge is to push the bands down, and effect of negative charges is to pull up the bands, right? So same concept if I apply over here, so that means effect of positive is to pull down, okay, push down. So that means in this region, I will see a bending of energy bands. Okay. So in this region, I see a bending of energy bands, and then I'll see constant energy band in N-type region. Okay. So since this constant energy band, this corresponds to N-type region. Okay. Okay, and Fermi level, so that will be straight as I said. Okay. So this is my Fermi level, EF. This is EC, conduction band energy, and this is valence band energy, EV. Okay. So now again we see that since this portion is p-type semiconductor, Fermi level is close to the valence band, and since this is n-type semiconductor, Fermi level is close to the conduction band. Right. So again this is conduction band of n-type, and this is valence band of n-type. Okay. So this way I can modify the energy band diagram, right? So the complete total energy band diagram of this device would look like this. Okay. So obviously, if I have an electric field, profile like this in a semiconductor, okay, maybe I'll erase now a few more things. Let us say, okay. Now let us try to draw the electrostatic potential profile at the junction. So electrostatic potential profile at the junction, that is in this region only, you will see gradient in electrostatic potential, right? In these two regions, the electrostatic potential is constant because you don't have any electric field. But in this region, electrostatic potential, will change with X, okay? And X is the position along the semiconductor. Okay? So we had sometimes seen a different, equation which tells me a relationship between electric field and electrostatic potential. I'll go back and again show you here, not here. That is here, this one, right? That is electrostatic potential V. So that is related to electric field by this relation, right? That is Ex, the electric field is equal to minus dVx by dx, and Vx is the electrostatic potential. So that means I have a gradient in electrostatic potential because of this electric field, right? So obviously that gradient can also be reflected in the junction, that is here, right? So let us try to draw the electrostatic potential of this. Okay, so electrostatic potential profile would be, I mean, here I have constant potential, and then the potential changes because of electric field in the region, and then the potential becomes, it minimizes, and then finally again it becomes constant, equal to Vp, and this was equal to Vn, right? So at the junction, the electrostatic potential profile would be somewhat like this, right? So this electrostatic potential, we call it V naught, let us say, okay? Electrostatic potential, or we also call it as built-in potential, okay? And this electric field is called built-in electric field, right? So built-in potential, electrostatic potential, because of built-in electric field, right? Now the profile of electrostatic potential is this. So in this P and N region, it is constant, and because of this electric field and that formula E is minus dV by dx, we see that it is changing in the negative x direction. Okay? So it is maximum over here in the in the depletion region, and minimum here at this edge. Okay? Now this electrostatic potential can be reflected in our energy band diagram also. That is this diagram. So this electrostatic potential, that is this one, V naught. So this can also be reflected in our energy band diagram here, right? So again, I'll go back and show you the relationship between electrostatic potential and potential energy of the electrons, okay? Which is, we had some time back seen that relation. So I'll go back and show you a relationship between the electrostatic potential and the potential energy of the electrons, right? So this is my electrostatic potential, and this is the potential energy of the electron, right? So potential energy of the electron obviously corresponds to these energies, okay? So that means E is, one can say E is QV, right? That is potential energy. This is QV, right? So same thing, that is effect of electric potential, electrostatic potential, can be seen in the energy band diagram also. So that is the effect of this V naught, electrostatic potential, okay? So the effect of this electrostatic potential is that, I now see a energy barrier across the junction, which is equal to QV naught, okay? So I have an energy barrier existing across the junction, okay? So this is QV naught, is the energy barrier, right? So energy, obviously potential energy we understood, okay? Now barrier for what, right? So I say that QV naught is the energy barrier, okay? In the energy band diagram, this is called energy barrier or barrier energy. So because of this electrostatic potential which is appearing across the junction, if I try to relate this to energy band diagram, so this relates to the energy barrier which is existing across the junction, okay? QV naught, okay? So what is barrier here? So barrier obviously means the barrier for the electron and hole movements, right? So as I said, that this electric field balances the diffusion of electrons, okay, which sets up a barrier across the junction. So barrier for further diffusion of electrons and holes across the junction, right? I mean, here obviously it will diffuse, they will be diffusing, and there will be drift also, right? In energy band diagram, we would say that this potential results into a barrier across the junction. So barrier for electron movement, let us say, barrier for electron movement from N to P, right? So electrons are moving, that is diffusing from N to P, right? So now since I have a barrier over here, right, and this is N type region and this is P type region, so electrons were moving from N to P, that is this way, they were moving, okay? So now the electrons see a barrier, that is, I have lower energy of electrons over here, and now to cross this barrier energy, electrons will have to gain energy which is equal to QV naught. If they don't gain energy equal to QV naught, they will sit here itself. Okay? They will not cross the barrier. They will not reach this point. Okay? That is, they will not diffuse. Okay? Because now an energy barrier is set. Okay? So similarly, a barrier is set for holes also. Holes were diffusing from P to N. Okay? So a barrier is set for holes also. Okay? So hole barrier is where? So this is hole barrier. That is barrier for hole diffusion. Again, this is QV naught only. Same barrier. Okay? So energy barrier for holes. So this will prevent the holes to diffuse from P-type region. Okay, so they were diffusing P to N. So this will prevent the diffusion of holes from P-type region to N region. Okay? Because sometime back we had commented, if you remember, that electron energy increases as you move above the conduction band edge, and the hole energy increases as you move down the valence band edge. Okay? So that obviously means holes have lower energy at this point. Okay? And if they want to cross this barrier, they'll have to obtain energy equal to QV naught or more than that. Then only they cross this barrier. So holes see this as a barrier, and electrons see this as a barrier. So that is why this potential V naught is also called barrier potential. Okay? So V naught is also called built-in potential or barrier potential. Right? So barrier potential, or also it is called built-in potential. Right? So built-in potential. Okay. So if you have any queries, then maybe you can put on, then I'll start.
सर ये जो आपने इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक पोटेंशियल का ग्राफ बनाया है, इसमें अपवर्ड लाइन क्यों आई है, डाउनवर्ड क्यों नहीं आई?
डाउनवर्ड मींस
मतलब इसका स्लोप जो है ऊपर की साइड को जा रहा है इस वाली लाइन का.
So this is
Barrier
VP.
region.
This is VP. This one,
Yes.
this is VP here. So VP corresponds to the potential across P-type region, so which is constant. Since no
Yes.
electric field is existing, we are assuming that no electric field is existing here. Similarly, Vn, this one. So this is also
Yes.
constant. So since no electric field is existing, now we are left with only this region. Okay? So here electric field is existing. Okay? And the direction of electric field is from positive to negative. I mean from N side to P side. Okay. So by that relation, E is dV by dx. So we understand there must be some gradient also across this junction, because electric field always exists if you have a gradient in electrostatic potential. If you don't have a gradient in electrostatic potential, there will be no electric field. So gradient here means electrostatic potential has to change with x, that is position, right? So E was, let me write over here, E was dV by dx. Okay. So that is why it is, E was dV by dx, right? Electric field exists, so that means there should be a gradient. Okay. Now that gradient is this.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Let us continue from here. Maybe I'll come back to this picture. This gives you a more clear view. Okay. So we have electrostatic potential set up across the junction. Okay. And the energy bands also change. How they change, we have understood. And this electrostatic potential relates to energy barrier in the energy band model. So this energy barrier means that electrons will face this much barrier, right? That is, there is some difficulty now created for electrons to move from N to P. Okay. Similarly, some difficulty is created for holes to move from P to N, that is diffuse from P to N, because of these two barriers over here. Okay. So obviously, since this is a model, so that is why we are saying that electrons face difficulty in diffusing from P to N. Sorry, from N to P, and holes face difficulty, or holes have to cross a barrier, QV naught barrier, to diffuse from P to N. But actually, if you see this device itself, I mean, this is just a model. Okay, so this is how we understand through this model. But here, if you look, the electrons will diffuse and holes will diffuse as soon as far as the gradient exists in the device. That is, concentration gradient of electron and hole if exists, they will continue to diffuse even if the electric field is set up. So this electric field cannot stop these electrons and holes to diffuse across the junction, right? This model assumes, energy band model assumes, that the diffusion can come to a stop, or maybe there may be a hurdle for electron to diffuse and also holes to diffuse, and that hurdle is this energy barrier. But actually here the electrons and holes will diffuse until there is a concentration gradient. Till the time concentration gradient exists, they will continue to diffuse. Okay. But yes, at equilibrium, the drift and diffusion, so they will be balanced, so that you have no net carrier movement across the junction and the current is zero in that situation. Now let us again identify these keywords which I have written for you. Maybe let us understand these keywords. So I said a transition region, right? So transition region is this one, right? So this is my transition region. So why it is called transition region? Because this is created by the transition of electrons and holes from one side to another, right? Or this is also called space charge region. Okay? That is, extra charges or extra more charges are appearing in this space W, right? W is the width of this space, right? So space charge or extra charge is existing across this space W. So that is why this is called space charge region also. Then it is also called depletion region. So as I said, that in this region there would be no carrier, that is, no electron and hole can be existing here in this region. If it tries to come in this region, it will be swept away by this electric field to the either side, P or N, depending upon whether it's an electron and hole, right? So that is why no charge can exist. So that is why I say that this is a depletion region. That is, this region is depleted of any charges. Then the built-in potential, okay, that is V naught, this one. So this is also called contact potential. Okay. Contact potential, because this potential has come up because of a contact between P and N type of semiconductor. So this is sometimes also called contact potential, or sometimes this is also called diffusion potential, okay, because this potential has been created because of the diffusion of holes from N to P to N side and diffusion of electrons from N to P side. So this is why sometimes it is also called diffusion potential, and then it is also called built-in potential. Okay. So built-in potential, why? Because we had some time back commented that whenever there is a diffusion, then that diffusion is counterbalanced by a electric field which is set up. Okay. So this electric field is called built-in electric field, so which will redistribute the carriers by drift. Okay. So that is why it is called built-in potential barrier. And now to create this built-in electric field or built-in potential barrier, you don't need to apply any bias. Okay. So you don't need to connect this semiconductor to any supply to create this built-in potential barrier or diffusion potential or contact potential. It will be automatically created once the junction is created. Okay. So you don't need to apply any bias. Okay. And this built-in potential or barrier potential, this cannot be measured also, right? So somebody tries to put probe across this region to measure the built-in potential. So that is actually not possible, right? So if you try to put a probe at these two regions, right, and then attach a voltmeter to measure the built-in potential. So that is not possible, right? So since this is not actually real potential, it is created, okay, because of the diffusion of carriers. Okay, so it cannot be measured. And if somebody tries to measure it like this, so that will actually disturb the equilibrium across the junction. Okay. So since now the junction is in equilibrium, Fermi levels are aligned. If somebody tries to measure this built-in potential, okay, by attaching electrodes across the two transition regions, then attaching this probe will disturb the equilibrium. So device may not be in equilibrium again. So it will be, again diffusion of this thing will happen, and electric field will again try to reset itself to counterbalance the diffusion. Now we also understood that the electric field is related to the electrostatic potential by this relation. So that is why we see a gradient over here in electrostatic potential across the junction. Okay. Now this gradient, that is this V naught difference, that is contact potential V naught. So this is also equal to, obviously difference is Vn minus Vp, right? So that will give me V naught. So electrostatic potential can be calculated by simply subtracting Vn at this edge and Vp. So this will give me electrostatic potential. Now this electrostatic potential is also related to the potential energy of electrons in the energy band model. So energy band diagram can be explained, and this barrier can be, just a second. Yeah. So this energy barrier, this comes up because of this electrostatic potential, right, which is appearing across the junction. Okay. And no net current can flow across the junction at equilibrium, because drift and diffusion, they balance out each other, so that the contribution of current due to drift of holes and due to diffusion of holes, right? So that is equal to 0. Similarly, contribution of current due to drift of electrons and current due to current due to diffusion of electron. So that is also equal to 0, right? Because there is no net carrier movement. Okay. Okay. Let me know how much time we have. We have maybe 2-3 minutes left. So maybe we can stop here. Okay. And then we can continue from here in the next lecture. So if you have any queries, then please ask.
Sir, what is the syllabus for exam?
First 2 units.
Okay, sir.